should have told you a long time ago. Yeah, it's one of the most painful things in my life. But one of the best things has been teaching you. And I want you to know, no matter what happens, I promise, I'll always be on your side. And I'll always have your best interests at heart.
Thank you.
All right.
Now, when you think of sequels and reboots, what do you think of? Cash grab? Poor? A disappointment? Most of those things, yeah. So when Cobra Kai was first announced back in 2018, it was no surprise that everyone who was a fan of the original Karate Kid were very skeptical about this show on YouTube Red. There was much fear that their childhood would be destroyed in a matter of seconds. However, it was quite the opposite. Cobra Kai impressed many fans of the old Karate Kid, bringing in new characters, bringing back old characters, and respecting the legacy. Cobra Kai is great because it doesn't just go back to the story of the main character in the original, like many other mediums would do, but instead puts us into the perspective of the bully, Johnny Lawrence. I like this concept a lot because since 1984 we've seen Daniel's journey. We've seen everything from his perspective, which is good, but a perspective is only one side of the story. What if we saw other viewpoints of the same story? How do others feel in the same situation? This is where Johnny's stories work. We see how life has gone down for him since the All Valley of '84. We feel for him. We feel sorry for him. This version of Johnny is even better when we pair him up with Miguel, which is where we have our sensei/student relationship. Now, call me crazy, but I feel that Johnny's and Miguel's relationship is better than Daniel's and Mr. Miyagi's relationship. I feel this way because maybe it feels more real. There is no doubt that Daniel's and Mr. Miyagi's relationship is great, and that there are many things that you can learn from their conversations.
Remember lesson about balance.
Yeah.
A lesson not just karate only. Lesson for whole life. Whole life have a balance. Everything be better. Understand?
I feel that Johnny's and Miguel's relationship is better because it feels well earned. We spend time with these two as they are the heart of the show. We see them grow not just as student and teacher, but as individuals. Remember Daniel, our main character from the originals? Well, for the first 2 seasons of the show, he has no arc. There isn't really much that goes on for Daniel until season 3. Daniel has to travel to Japan if he is to have any chance to save his company. While in Tokyo, Daniel decides to travel to Okinawa to search for guidance. Here we see the return of Kimiko and Chosen, who play a big role in episode 4 and 5. Now, Kimiko and Chosen aren't just there for fan service, they are there to serve a purpose in Daniel's arc. They are there to help Daniel find what's missing within himself. This is because in the last 2 seasons of the show, Daniel hasn't been able to have his teachings and lessons figured out like Mr. Miyagi. I also like how Chosen's character has grown since Karate Kid 2. He's matured and regrets what he did in the past, which Daniel is fond of. Even the little girl that Daniel saved from the storm returns. The show keeps surprising me. Cobra Kai does fan service, and they do it right. They know how to use it to make a great plot for the show. Oh, you thought we were done with fan service? Nope, not yet. Speaking of familiar faces, Ali Mills makes a return for Season 3. Now, everyone, including me, thought that Ali would come back to help save Miguel, which would have been the more predictable route to go. Instead, the showrunners decided not to do that and decided to just have her come back for Christmas. Fucking genius. I really did not see that coming. Just like Kimiko in Chosen, Ali isn't there for a short cameo. She's there to calm the tension down because, let's face it, she was there when the feud between Daniel and Johnny started, therefore it's important she's the one who fixes it, because she knows them best. We have one episode dedicated to Ali and Johnny catching up as old friends. This was great, since we never really saw that relationship between the two of them in the originals. It was a great idea that the writers came up with this. In that same episode, we also have Daniel and Miguel talk for the first time. And it's a great conversation because we've all wanted them to talk because we see how similar they are to each other. It's something that I would like to see more of in Season 4. In that finale, where Daniel, Johnny, and Ali finally reunite, we actually see Ali bringing Daniel and Johnny closer and having them drop the tension they have. The line she says is also great, which is,
"This is exactly the problem. You say one thing and then you say the opposite. You both think there's only one side to the story."
I know, there's two.
No, there's three. There's your side, and then there is the truth. And the truth is, you guys are more alike than you want to admit. And maybe you recognize parts of yourselves in each other, and maybe you don't always like what you see.
overall, the fan service in the show is really well done because it's used to push the plot forward, not have it be there for the sake of being there. The fight choreography is also pretty good. Now, it's no Daredevil or Tarantino film, but overall it's able to apply many angles and shots to make it look pretty good. It's able to apply the one-shot action takes and have reasonable pacing. Overall, coming into Cobra Kai, I wasn't expecting much. I was only expecting a half-assed baked job. But after having the pleasure of watching all 3 seasons of this show, I can say that it lives up to the hype, has great writing, good characters, and respects the Karate Kid legacy.
Finish him!
Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you haven't yet checked out the last video where I talked about the boys, check it out. If you like this video, leave a like, and I'll see you guys next time.
You couldn't leave well enough alone, could you, LaRusso? You little twerp. Look at you, you're a disgrace on the dance floor. You're flat-footed, there's no swivel in your hips, you're the posture of Snooki at happy hour. And if you think that crane kick crap's gonna work here, you got another thing coming, LaRusso. Go back to Reseda, punk! Will Smith's kid would demolish you! You're nothing but a zero, LaRusso, a zero! And that's what I'm gonna give you!